Hello, this is Sean DeMitt with Photo Solutions Market and Spotlight Photographics, and today we're talking about team and individual collections, specifically the Stardust collection. This is from the Quantum series of designs, and I want to show you a little bit on how to use this design and get it edited, and also place your images and edit text. So this is going to go through pretty much most of all of the collection, no matter if it's a mouse pad, a coaster, a 5x7, an 8x10. They're all going to function pretty much the same as this. I'm going to show you the memory made and maybe one or two other products to kind of give you an idea, but I'm not going to go through all of them because the functionality is the same through the whole system. So first thing we want to do is change our colors. That is very simple. You can see all of these different boxes here that are our hue and saturation adjustment layers. These, all you do is double click on the hue and saturation, bring up your color bar, and then you can change the color to a different color on this bar. Now you may not see a reaction right away. However, what you want to do is remember what color you're using and copy that number, and then as you go up the list, just change that color. So what we're doing is changing this over to green, and you'll start seeing that change. Now you can always turn off layers, but with this template in particular, each layer above each spot changes a color below it. So you want to start from the bottom and go up. So now we've changed that over to green, and now we can start talking about text. Now the jersey number over here, this is just plain text. All you have to do is use your type tool. We'll change the jersey number over to my favorite number, 83, and you'll notice that it has a blue outline. So we want to change that to green as well. So we're going to come over to the stroke and outer glow, double click on those options. That will bring up your color picker for the color there. We can either pick a color green, or we can select our own color as well. We can also check out the stroke. The stroke is white. You could change that to a color if you wanted to as well. And if you wanted to change, I hit cancel on that. Let's try that again. Outer glow, change this over to green. And you can also put in your color code if you have a color code as well. If you want to change the color of the actual number, that would just be your standard color for your text. So if we wanted to make that red, there you go. We're going to keep that down in black. Now the next step is changing the name, and this is where some of you are getting stuck because this is something new. It's a smart object. And the way to edit a smart object is not what you would think. If you notice, if I grab this, it all moves in one piece. And there's a reason that this is designed as a smart object, and it's to help you keep everything within the bounds of where it needs to be. So if you were to come in here and edit this text and the name was longer, you would then have to figure out how far in you'd need to bring that name so that it would fit exactly on this template correctly. Well, with a smart object, it fixes this for you. So what we do is come over to our smart object, and we're going to double click on the icon. Now if you're using a different version of Photoshop, this icon may look different, but you want to double click on the smart object and it will open in its new window. Now it's just like everything else that we just did with jersey number, and you can edit the text. So if we're going to change this, I'm just going to change it to my name. Why not? We just highlight, hit enter, or apply, and we'll just put in the last name. And that wasn't much bigger, so I'm going to use a different name here to show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so now if you notice, it's too big. So we see it doesn't fit inside of our frame, so we're going to go ahead and free transform this and make it fit within the bounds of what we see on our screen. And changing the bottom is the same. You just highlight and retype. Now, to apply this onto our template, all we have to do is simply close it and hit yes to save changes. And then what will happen is it will automatically close this down and change it over onto the template. And now it's fitting in the same spot. And that's how you edit the smart object. Now some of you have asked, that you don't want the smart object on here. You'd rather it be the way it used to be and just the text be floating, not in a smart object. Here's how you fix that problem, if that is a problem for you anyway. Open up your smart object, have that in its separate window, come over, delete your smart object, and then simply select all of your layers, have the move tool on, and drag and drop it onto your poster. Now you'll see that it's a lot bigger, and the reason for smart objects is to keep it bigger so that it has a really good quality. So if you were to make this template bigger, this is already sized up for you. It's kind of like enlarged, and then it's decreased for the template, so that if you make the template bigger or print it in bigger size, this will size with it. So you would have to downsize at this point, also adjust all of the strokes and everything so that it works. So I would advise not to do this. Keep the smart object. It's easy to work with. It's not that difficult. And I know I didn't change the colors. Some of you are probably saying, well, you didn't change the colors in here. There is the light beams, and the light beams do not have, this was a problem that someone pointed out, that the light beams do not have a hue and saturation adjustment layer to change them to a different color, and this was an error in the design. We're going through and fixing all of this, but for right now, if you need to change the color on this to a different color, what you can do is grab the hue and saturation layer, properties from this one right here, and drag and drop it over into the other template. So the other thing we can do is also come over here, and you can say, come down and say hue and saturation, click on colorize, bring your saturation up, and then what we want to do is mask this into this other layer. So to do that, either hold down your Alt key on a PC, on a Mac I believe that's your Option key, and click, or you can right click and say create clipping mask. So that's how you would mask that into that layer. At this point, then you can change the color to whatever color you want. So there's our green, and then we can just simply copy this layer down to the other light beam, move it into it just like the other one, and then on this bottom rectangle we have an outer glow which is blue that will change over to our green color. Now we'll just go ahead and let's reposition the name, bring it over here, and we'll grab that light beam and bring it over as well, and we'll go ahead and close it, hit yes to the save, and that should update on the template. So you can really move things around, do what you want with it, and again, that is one smart object, and that way it is all one piece. You don't have to worry about moving it. If you grab it and downsize it and apply it and then bring it back up again, it's not going to lose its quality, and it's not going to get pixelized, and that's why we have this as a smart object. Now let's go into our adding photos. You're going to see two different shape blocks on the memory mate. On other templates you may only see one. So here's how this works. You're going to bring in your image, and what you want to do first is be on the block that you want your image to be on, and we'll go ahead and grab an image here, drag and drop it directly into our template, and at this point we don't need to really worry about how big he is, and then we're going to do what we showed just a second ago on how we masked that into the thing. We're going to say create clipping mask, and now we can use our free transform and size him into that box. Same thing for the team box. We're going to grab our team, drag it in, and if you want, you can size it beforehand. It's not a requirement to do the clipping first. Apply it, and then we mask that into the layer below. And that is how you add your team photos and your individuals. Now the same thing, of course, if you're doing any of the other products, you're going to probably run into the same exact stuff. For example, let's go ahead and bring up a 5x7. And I'm not going to go through all the color changing again because that's pretty much the same. But if we're going to drag and drop an image in, we select that shape, drag our image in, go ahead and apply it for right now, right click, create clipping mask, do our free transform, and size it into that spot. Once again, the smart object for the name, we double click on that, change it, close and save, and it will change it over. So hopefully that helps you with the Quantum Series Team and Individual Collection with the new Smart Object Name field. I know that's getting some questions about how to change that and also how to add some adjustment layers if they are missing. So if you have any other questions, just let me know. Again, my name is Sean DeMint with Photo Solutions Market and Spotlight Photographics. Have a great day.